Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Swiss Curling Championships 2013 live from Gstaad. It's the last day of the Swiss Championships, so it's decision time. This morning we're going to feature the game between Manuela Siegrist from Basel-Regio against Mirjam Ott from Davos. It's the women's semi-final. My name is Nicole Strausak, and in the commentary box this morning with me is Armin Harder. He's tour director of the Curling Champions Tour, as well as in the executive board of the Swiss Curling Association. Good morning, Armin.
Morning, Nicole. I do look a little like Mike, maybe. I speak the same language.
Still confused because Mike was with me in the commentary box last night. So we're going to feature the women's game. Davos, Mirjam Ott lost the playoff game against Silvana Tirinsoni last night in a very exciting game, Armin.
Yes, the extra end game that in the 1-2 game with the paid system here. 3 teams qualify for the playoffs. 1 and 2 played against each other last night. That was Tirinsoni, who finished second after the round robin, and Mirjam, who finished first, only by about 5 centimeters on the draw shot over the entire championships. So those teams are very close, and the game last night was exactly that. It was close too.
Absolutely, and the game was won in the extra end. Mirjam Ott was having the hammer, didn't make her last shot, so by a stolen point, Aarau qualified already for the final game later on today at 6 o'clock Central European Time. So Mirjam Ott's rink is having a second chance now to qualify for the final game. And this is against Manuela Siegrist. They played already a double round robin this week. And out of these 2 games, one was won by each team, both in close games. One was 7-6 for the young team from Basel, with a stolen point in the 10th end. And the second game was won 7-5 by Mirjam Ott's rink. So they had 2 close games already this week, so I guess we can expect quite an exciting game again.
Yes, I think so too. This young team from Basel is up and coming. They've had a pretty good season, and they've certainly played a very good championship up to now. And Miri obviously trying to defend her title from last year. So we expect it should be a good game.
So here we see again the road to the final. Last night the page 1-2 was won by Silvana's rink from Aarau. They moved directly to the final. And now the semi-final between the 3rd ranked team Basel-Regio after the round robin and Mirjam Ott's rink, who lost the page playoff 1-2 last night. So this is the standing again after the double round robin. As you said, Armin, Davos and Aarau both ranked with 21 points. Davos getting the first ranked place because they were winning by the draw shot challenge.
By about 5 centimeters or something like that. Very close anyways. Throughout the entire competition.
A bit surprising was for sure the performance of the Bernese team. They were actually leading after the pre-qualification round, but lost 7 games out of 10 here.
Yeah, very surprising to have gotten into such a hole and never came out of it.
And
last year's finalist.
Absolutely, they were runner-up last year, losing in the final against Mirjam Ott. And Binja Felcher and her rink from Flims, they were
dangerous. Yeah.
Absolutely, they were actually 3rd ranked last year, just losing out on the podium this year with 1 point behind Basel-Regio. So again, the field was quite close and a lot of exciting games going on.
Also, 4 of those teams there, the first 3 and number 5, Bern, they're ranked on the world team ranking, the order of merit. All 4 of them are under the top 20 in the world. So Swiss women's competition, very strong field, and the competition has been that exactly this week, has been very exciting and excellent matches.
For me personally, a bit of surprise that Basel-Regio did actually make it to the top 3. If I would have bet, I would have probably bet on Bern or Flims, because both of these teams, they were very good lately in the Curling Champions Tour. Binja Felcher winning the Glasgow Glyn Hill Internationals just a few weeks ago, and Bern's Michelle Jacki also competing very well, winning the CO Women's Masters in Wetzikon, and also with a good performance at the International Ladies Cup. So these teams actually really performed well in the last few weeks, but didn't bring on the performance well enough this week.
Yeah, you sometimes you just hit the wrong week for you, and it just starts going wrong, and you just can't. Sometimes you just can't dig out of it for one reason or another. But I'm also, with Siegrist being in here, also a bit of a surprise, but they're going to make it eventually, and they just made it a little sooner than we probably expected, which is a good thing too. Just makes that field even stronger, and Swiss curling, obviously, very good shape with the women's curling. We certainly have a good future here with all these solid teams developing.
So we're already well in that first end. Davos playing the yellow rocks, having the hammer in this end. Now Aline Pat coming up for Basel-Regio, 3rd player with the blue rocks. We have already quite some rocks in play. Nice corner guard and a buried rock behind it from the Davos ladies. Basel-Regio now trying with a similar shot, just following down the rink that shot rock, but coming up to
quite a bit short.
Light.
3-4 meters. And this will give Mirjam the opportunity to go on the offense and go behind that center guard. Davos has the hammer. There was some game last night between Tiransoni and Aro. It was a little shaky for both teams at the beginning, and then the last half was quite close. Miri just made a little mistake with her second last rock in the extra end. Pushed an Aro shot that was in the 8-foot, pushed it into the 4-foot, and Tiransoni managed to split it a little bit, and Miri didn't make her last rock. Game of inches.
On the ice at the same time, we also have the men's semi-final going on. We're going to update you on that game as well. This is between Peter De Cruz's team from Geneva. They lost out the 1-2 page playoff last night against Sven Michel from Adelboden and his team. That was also a very high standard game, very exciting. The percentages were well up in the 90s of both teams, and Sven just having head up and winning that game. So Peter De Cruz this morning is facing now the 3rd ranked team from Bernhard Werdemann from Bern and his team, and the 2 teams are also fighting for the 2nd spot in the men's final game tonight at 6 o'clock.
And we'll be showing that final.
Absolutely.
Final.
Yes.
See the teams struggling here right at the beginning this morning. trying to make a shot. Just not getting the weight quite right. It is much colder out there this morning than it was a couple of days ago. We're up here high in the mountains, the Berner Oberland, and a very pretty spot it is.
I think it's about minus 10 degrees this morning outside, so...
It's cold. And that'll also have maybe change the ice a little this morning, so maybe that's what the teams are struggling with. They'll get a grip of that, take an end or two. Yeah, we see a little bit long, but certainly it's in play. Going behind the tee line does allow Siegrist to place one in front of it, and she certainly has to make this. She doesn't want to give up 3 in this first end, so she want to have this buried. Big shot here, already in the first end for Manuela Siegrist. From Basel, actually, on this team.
Freeze!
She's coming in nicely. Gotta be shot. That's a very nice shot, very important shot. And as you see here, covered completely.
Schwierig, hè? Ja.
So Team Ott is discussing if they can pick that shot rock out, maybe with a backline to hack weight.
Just try and move it enough to count 1 or 2 of her other rocks.
Ik zie het niet zo recht. Ja, vinger siehst. 12, 12,5, hè?
Just making sure of what weight she wants to play.
So the call was 12 to 12.5. That's the split time between hog and hog for the weight.
Sneller! Sneller! Yeah! Oh!
Reigning world champion, Mirjam Ott. Last rock in the first end.
They need to pass the guard by nothing.
Does she have a piece of it? No, she doesn't.
Just missed it. Probably was
a little warmer than she wanted, I would think so too. It certainly looked more than what she had indicated. Steal of 1 for Basel here in the first end. The girls will be happy that they were looking at a possible 3 if she didn't place that very well. Great shot. Good confidence builder for Manuela.
Absolutely, to be able to play a draw like that in the first end already.
Especially since she watched her first rock didn't turn out so well, and she watched her team throw a couple of bad ones.
So the Swiss Championship is being held for the 3rd time in a row up here in Gstaad.
3rd and last. Next year we will be somewhere else.
Is it decided?
No, it hasn't been decided yet. It's we've had a couple of places that are possible, and we'll be looking at those in the next few weeks.
But the organizing committee here
have
done a very nice job already. Actually, the 3rd year in a row, making everything to give great conditions to the teams. Of course, the ice is the most important for the teams, and Tom
has done a great job. Yeah. And not always under easy conditions. We're pretty high up in the mountains here, and it's tends to be a little dry, which does cause problems with your ice.
And Stefan Carnusian being president of the organizing committee, a well-experienced player himself, of course, and he knows also what is important to the teams. And he has a great crew around him. And of course also looking forward to that final game. It's always the highlight, of course, after a long week. The teams have been playing quite a few games. Like for Davos, this is the 12th game now this week. So it needs a really steady performance if you want to be on top of the podium at the end of the week.
They played 11 women's teams played in the Swiss League. Single round robin. Of those 11 teams, 6 of them qualified for the final here. And another double round robin and a 3-team page playoff. To be curling a little less this morning. Temperatures outside will have affected the ice.
So we're going to quickly introduce the two teams to you. They're quite well known, but still Janine Greiner playing lead already for a few years in the team of Mirjam. A very solid lead, we have to say. Carmen Küng, second player, also played in many events already, the whole team. As we see them today, current world champion. They won in Lethbridge last year. Carmen Schäfer playing third. They're all quite active in Facebook as well, if you want to meet them there and see what they're up to. And Mirjam Ott, the most experienced and most successful women's player in Swiss curling, 41 years old. She has taken part in 3 Winter Olympic Games already and is aiming for a 4th one.
Certainly looking for that 4th one also, yeah. And in the driver's seat at the moment. But today is a very important day for these teams in stepping towards that Olympic berth. I'll go through the Basel team. Nicole Jinke, she's actually from the Zurich area. And this team put together about a year ago. Nadine Lehmann, mixed double world champion 2012. Last year in Erzurum, just coming out of juniors. Last year joined the team, Aline Patz, also out of the Zurich area, mixed double world champion of the year before. Switzerland quite successful in mixed double championships. And Manuela Siegrist, this, as you see, the average age of this team about 22, all very young, and great performance for them to be here in a playoff semi-final. And they curl out of the Basel-Regio club in Arlesheim, Switzerland, home of the Swiss Cup and the Women's Masters on the Champions Tour. So familiar to our viewers.
Yeah, the Basel team played a very good Canadian tournament, the Red Deer Curling Classic last fall, where they finished up third with a great performance, collected a lot of points also with that result. And other than that, they competed in most of the curling Champions Tour events, but didn't manage to get in the playoffs in most of these tournaments. But this week really showing a very solid performance.
Putting a lot of effort in, working very hard this season has paid off, and they'll continue to develop. And of course playing against the current world champion in a semi-final game. got nothing to lose, everything to win. Mary trying to qualify direct to the Olympic Games. Winning the Swiss Championships would pretty well put that away for her. So big day for her today. She can make that win. So a bit of a pressure on, probably more pressure on the Ott team as opposed to the Siegrist team.
Yeah, that's true. Of course, for the Ott team, really only the Swiss title counts for them. They definitely want to go to the Worlds in Riga as defending world champion and secure a spot for your Olympic Games in Sochi for Switzerland. I mean, Switzerland is already very good. Almost nothing can happen there anymore with the points Switzerland gained in Lethbridge for the qualification
Switzerland's
for
qualified
Sochi.
already for Sochi, so no, we're pretty well qualified there.
It's a bit
on the
different.
women's side, on the men's side, we still have a little work to do. Took maximum points last year for that. 2 World Championships last year, and this year qualifying the countries to the Olympic Games. Mirjam trying to qualify as a team to represent Switzerland at those Olympic Games, and a win here at the Swiss Championships would pretty well solidify that spot for her.
Can you tell us a bit something about the qualification system within Switzerland?
Well, we have the Swiss curling ranking system. It's similar to the CTRS in Canada. Teams collect points from the Canadian World Curling Tour and the European Curling Champions Tour, and also national competitions like this one. They'll collect points. The leading team will qualify direct to the Olympic Games if it, as long as there isn't any other team within 40 points of them. So any team within 40 points at the end of the season will cause a qualifier, an extra qualifier. So Tyrensoni still has a chance with if she were to win today the Swiss Championships. She's within 30 points now of Ott. Needs to go to a World Championship. That would help her, and that could cause a two-way qualifier to be played out. If Ott wins here, then it's pretty well fixed. Ott looking like she'd be indirect.
It's looking actually pretty similar at the men's side.
Yes, we have 2 teams pretty well in the race there, with Michel and De Cruz fighting it out. Michel winning the Swiss Championships today would put him in direct qualification for that Olympic spot. Given that the Swiss are qualified for the Olympics, that's not clear yet. If De Cruz were to win, then that would probably force a qualifier. But Switzerland, having said that, Switzerland still needs to qualify for the Olympics. That means at least a 5th spot at the Worlds in Victoria this year to guarantee that spot. So still a lot of work ahead of us. We have 2 very good young teams there, both very capable of making that qualification. But that's for another day. Today is the Swiss Championship final. Of course, De Cruz has to get past Wertemann, and that's not going to be so easy. Wertemann, very experienced player, can be very difficult to beat.
So Mirjam Ott with her first rock in that second end, having the chance with a hit and stick to lay with 2 shots in the house.
So. Sani, gut.
And Basel now indicating for the last rock of Manuela to play a takeout and roll in front of the second yellow rock to the side to make the last rock for Mirjam as difficult as possible.
Well, Mirjam keeping the pressure on this young Basel skip. And she'll be trying to do that throughout the game, hoping to force some air. Position here again to make 2 points. Manuela Siegrist needs to come up with a big shot here. Avoid that. Oh, just slipped past that back one. Free draw for 2. Nice attempt by Manuela. Just didn't quite get enough of that shot rock.
Yes, so this is leaving Mirjam with a draw to the house to score 2 in this second end of the semi-final game at the Swiss Championships here in Gstaad.
Weit vorne putzen. Hier ist ein Ellischer. Ist gut. T-Line. Gut, T-Line. Ist gut.
She had more than enough. And sticks around on the back of the forefoot for her 2 points. I think that's the game plan, Mirjam. Just keep pressure on that young back end. Lots of experience in this team.
So the hammer changes to the Basel rink. Janine Greiner is going to open up that third end.
Lang aus. Zwei. Ja. Schön. 91. Gut. Gut. Zweine.
So Basel putting up a nice corner guard. Taking advantage of last rock by leaving the center of the house open and drawing the game to the side. That's what the Basel rink would like to do.
Typical opening. Now we'll see if Basel uses that corner guard and goes behind it.
Yeah, or attack the shot rock and roll behind the corner guard. That would also be an option.
It's a difficult shot. can get behind. You put that corner guard up to use it. It's a lot easier to get behind it with a draw, and it certainly gets you in a position.
Yes, as you mentioned, there are different options. Just to draw behind the corner guard would be one. To play a soft takeout weight on the shot rock and roll behind the corner guard a second, but the team is aiming for a tap back.
Playing this may not get your corner rock into play again though.
They just want to push the shot rock behind the tee line. And staying in a position where it makes it difficult for Mirjam's team to take it out.
So now the game moves to the middle of the sheet again, and Mirjam's quite content to play there.
Okay. Aufmachen. So. Ja. Ja, das ist 3, hä? Ja.
Trying to get both those guards.
Oh. Oh. Achtung. Nein. Okay.
That's one.
Hört ihr? 12 Fuß. Das wäre natürlich die schnelle Suche. Ist das 90?
So Mirjam asking Carmen Küng to play another rock in the control zone.
Wenn 2 nach ist, ist auch gut, gell?
Somewhere in the 12 foot or also just close to the house. To block the center and also have the possibility to push the stone up later in the end if necessary.
Warte, wo ist
And block the path to their shot rock.
Warte, Linie. Ja!
Yep, Mirjam quite content to keep playing this game. Plays in the middle. And it'll be difficult for Basel to score 2. This continues. It's a little close to the house, and those 2 rocks are fairly close together. Certainly a double is available here. If she comes it off thin enough, she might run it back onto her own and take that back yellow one too.
So Nadine Lehmann coming up with a big weight again.
Doesn't want to nose it, and that's about the worst. Just that way, exactly.
That's the shot you mentioned, Armin.
That's the one I mentioned, yeah.
That's a really nice result for the Basel team. Having a double corner guard on one side, 1 rock in the house.
It's just that guard that Davos played was just too close. And now the picture looks a lot different.
Schön gespielt.
Manuela could opt actually to draw behind that blue one, or maybe tap that blue one back into the house. Just ignore this one. Trying a hit and roll. Definitely wants to stick around.
Yep,
and she manages to.
Not quite what they wanted, but at least the shooter remains in the house.
That was definitely important to stick. Yeah. It's important that the Davos team sticks around too. They don't want to roll out. As soon as they roll out, that'll give the opportunity for Basel to use the other side.
Now really would be the time to think about to use that corner guard, because the shot rod is so well out. They can't play a takeout and draw behind the corner guard. That's very difficult. So just play a draw behind that corner guard could put the team in a good position to aim for a 2 in this end.
The question is, how much will it finish at the end? Will it be able to bury on that short guard?
Richtig is goed! Richtig is goed! Nathan!
This looks quite long. It's certainly wide open. It's at the back of the house almost. Oop, took the brakes. Wide open now. Miri's got a chance to hit, but I don't think she wants to roll behind the guard. She's indicating a roll to the other side.
Which I think is the right call, because she would just stay with the shooter behind the tee line and give a good opportunity for the Basel team to come onto that stone. So rolling away from the corner guard is the call here for Mirjam Ott's team. They have already a stone in the house that could give the opportunity to force Manuela just to take one in this end, and that of course would be the optimum for Team Ott's team.
Achtung! Oh, nein. Achtung!
Good enough. Siegrist will try and roll behind the guards this time.
And she does need that roll now to keep the hope alive for a 2 in this end.
That corner rock that Siegrist put up and with the first shot never did come in play yet. Maybe if she had drawn around it with her second one, then it might look a little different. Little nose hit here. Now Miri be very content to roll back there and force Siegrist to draw for one.
Muss er dann noch ein bisschen wecken? Gegen Janine wieder oder gegen mich? Nein, Ihnen. Gegen mich, gut. Lenny, gut? Ja! Ja! Vier! Oh! Schneller! Oh! Dranbleiben! Nein, nein, schneller! Dranbleiben! Oh! Büsi! Büsi! Okay. Good, so.
So open hit for one for Basel. Tie the game. Fairly routine shot. It's been all Davos so far. Certainly controlling the game.
Here we see Manuela Siegrist, last rock in that third end. They need to sweep it hard, seems to overcurl. Can they hold it? Not quite. Rolling out. And it's going to be a steal of 1 for Davos to take the lead 3-1 after 3 ends. That wasn't necessary.
Oh, fairly routine shot. Manuela's got to be able to make that one.
The first takeout didn't curl enough when they wanted to play the hit and roll with that in turn. And the second one now just overcurled a little. Maybe they're not quite comfortable with the ice yet.
See here the Wertemann de Crew out the game. It's all tied up at 2 apiece. Whatever happened there, we didn't see it. De Crew doesn't look very happy with it. Siegrist team being coached by Lucia Ebneter, who we all know very well. A big silver medalist. Former teammate of yourself and Mirjam Ott.
That's right, yes.
Working with this young team.
Winning the world silver together in 2000 in Glasgow. Myself and Lucia, and afterwards Mirjam Ott taking on my spot as third player. And moving on to the Salt Lake City Olympic Winter Games to pick up the silver medal there.
And then Mirjam as skip with Bina Felcher at third, winning a silver medal in
Torino 2006.
Yes. So lots of silvers there. Mirjam breaking that last year with a first time in 27 years, I believe, for Swiss curling, winning a gold medal in a world competition. It was a big win for Switzerland. Well overdue. You look at the level of competition we have in this country.
Yeah, that was really a great achievement, one has to say. Of course, silver medals at the World Championships are also nice.
Absolutely,
just playing the final and be there is great. A silver medal at the Swiss Championships, that really hurts because it takes away everything.
Yeah.
Only the gold really matters and gives the chance to play internationally for the country. So that's what these teams are aiming for here. For Silvana Tirinsoni teams, it's also a final game. It's going to be a final game for quite a long time. She hasn't been in the final since maybe 4 or 5 years.
Well, she was Swiss champion in Wetzikon, I think, in 2009 or something like that, I believe. 8, 9. That was the last time. So she'll be hungry. Didn't make the playoffs last year. Came fourth, so.
So, hinten 4. Ja.
So the Basel team bringing down the weight, playing slower rocks. They're just going to aim for a tap back on that yellow rock on the tee line and stay with the shooter buried behind the own corner guard.
Well, she'll need to get a little more offensive, need to get rocks into better positioning. She wants any hope of challenging this Davos team. It's not a bad rock. It'll be difficult to remove without jamming on her own.
Ja, aber op de Mitte komt recht.
Mirjam Ott to throw up a guard. And that's what Siegrist will want. She'll want more rocks in play. Giving her hopefully an opportunity to hide behind something and generate multiple points.
Another option, of course, would have been to remove the corner guard. That would have been the more defensive call, being 2 up. Davos don't really need to take any risks now, but they decided to also keep up the pressure.
I think that's her game plan, is to keep the pressure on the back end. And so far it's worked, so.
Ja, en zo maken we dan even af. Clearing.
I think that was a very clear game plan from the beginning.
Wachten.
Of course, the goal is always to have the other team playing the difficult shots. Like that, you get a higher possibility of a miss and create chances for your own team. And that is what Davos is doing now. They try to keep up the pressure and force the other team to difficult shots to get their chances. And so far they succeeding well with their game plan.
Still a long game though. 10 end games. 6 more ends to go.
There is going to be a 5th end break. The team will have a few minutes to regroup, discuss some situations with their coaches.
Mirjam's not working with a coach at this competition. Of course, her former coach, last year's coach, Thomas Lips, taking over the Russian ladies team.
Yeah, that's why the national coach has been working with Mirjam Ott's team when they played internationally as team coach.
Well, national coaches work with, actually, that's wasn't a very good shot. That's not going to help the situation. The national coaching staff works with all our teams, but then obviously will take on a special role at the international competitions with the team coach. And if the team doesn't happen to have a team coach going to an international competition, as with the last European Championships, and Schwaller worked with the Ott team at the Europeans. Al worked with the men's team, who were coached by Robert Hurleyman.
Actually, we're going to see Al Moore in the 5th end break. He will have a short interview with us and give us update on the statistics he's doing on the team and give us some insight on his thoughts of the performances of the team. So stay tuned also in the break.
See Ott here keeping Siegrist on the defensive. Siegrist not being able to make any offensive moves. She could try now, the center guard, go around it maybe. Good shot by Pats, opening that up. Elena Pats, her brother playing as third on the Adelboden-Michel team.
Okay, ja ist gut. Ja ist gut. Das ist einfach gehören, gell? Ja ist gut. Ich sage 12 ist auch gut. Ich sage einen weisser und wenn er kommt.
So, if anything, Mirjam wants to be short with this one. She's aiming for a come around, staying in the 12 foot, maximum 8 foot. She certainly doesn't want to roll onto the tee line and leaving a pocket there for Manuela's rock.
Innen genug! 95. Gut, 12!
Oh, warte, muss
Linie ist 12! Nur beissen, ist weit! 12!
Oh, warte, ein bisschen warten!
12, 8!
Oh, nein, nicht da! Oh, nur vorne!
8!
Nein, 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 nein!
Don't want it too deep.
Nein! 12, 8! Ja!
Ja, 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 ja! Noch ein bisschen, noch ein bisschen!
Coming up nicely.
Gut, tipptopp dort.
So inside roll will be difficult, if not impossible.
Das geht ja nicht, dass wir da hingehen. Oder der Doppel. Nein, den holen wir auch raus. So.
Da ist nachher immer einer zum Legen, als wenn drauf.
Ja, er muss schon wicken. Was meinst du so? Wie vorher der gar nicht. Kommt dann ab der Mitte.
So!
Ja! Dani! Ja!
Ein bisschen rauswicken.
Also die Doppel oder einfach?
Nein, das geht nicht. Einfach ein bisschen rauswicken, dass wir nachher den Weg aufs Dolly kriegen.
Gut, ja.
They want to stay with the shooter, so not aiming for a double takeout or anything like that, just hitting that yellow rock in the top 4 foot and roll to the right side.
With an opportunity to hit and roll inside now.
Ich weiß nicht.
Pressure, if she makes it, would be pressure anyways on Siegrist with her next shot to try and stay in this game. Never being able to get to the offensive, always on the defensive.
So Mirjam just wants to hit that blue rock and roll to the center again and force Manuela to a draw with her last rock to secure one in the end.
Well, regardless where Mirjam lands with this rock, she's going to have to draw anyways. Question is, how much room is she going to have to draw? See there, she has to come through, navigate through that court, stay in the 4 foot, make sure she gets her one.
That is really a key situation already here in this 4th end. Pressure on Manuela, she needs to make that draw to the 4 foot to stay in the game.
Give up another 1 or 2 here, it's certainly not looking good. He's very capable of making the shot.
Whoa, whoa. Marten, in speelkamer. Marten, whoa.
First Swiss Championship playoff game ever for this team at this level. And that's got to come down. That'll stop. And it does in time. Sigh of relief there, I'm sure, from Manuela Siegrist. But she'll have to do something. They'll have to change something. Continually on the defensive. Front end will have to play some good rocks. Change the momentum a little bit. It's all Davos right now.
That's right, but with that draw, they do stay in the game.
Absolutely.
3-2 after 4 ends. The hammer is going to change back to Davos now in the 5th end. So the strategy for the Basel team has to be to put on some pressure to either go for a steal in this end or force Mirjam just to take one. Then they would be still looking good for the second half. On the opposite, I assume Mirjam is going to try to keep the center open.
Well, she'll certainly try and get her opportunities here to make 2. Definitely want to keep Basel back on their heels. Not allow them to get into any kind of position.
So Nicole Dünki coming up with a nice center guard.
Warte schnell, willst du raus? Warum da? Ja! Linie!
Gut, Länge!
Ja! Oh, noch Länge! 8 Fuß!
8 ist gut. Bis 10.
Wutze! Ja! Nicht so lang. Oh! 8 Fuß! Gut, schön. Gut, Janine.
Perfect positioning there, Janine Greiner.
So gut, nein, nein.
So Manuela Siegrist's team, the first time in the playoffs at the Swiss Championships. At the ladies, they've been quite successful already as a junior team. They represented Switzerland back-to-back in 2010 and 2011 at the World Junior Championships, finishing 4th and 6th there, so they do have some international experience.
Well, Manuela, that was quite a different team there at that time, juniors, and she's got a complete new team now. None of those players that she has playing with them now was with her at that at those junior championships. So. Although they have some international experience on an individual basis as spares for teams. Manuela Siegrist, Moscow last year, played quite a few games with the Flims team. At that Europeans, Aline Patz has been continuously going with Mirjam Ott to the international competitions. Hasn't seen much play, but certainly has exposure to the atmosphere and what happens around.
Yeah, actually at this Swiss Championship there is a new 5th player on team Mirjam Ott. Nicole Schwegli came in. She played for the Bern team of Michel Jacki the last many years. She came in because Mirjam Ott got injured. She had problems with the ligaments or
knee ligaments, I believe.
and she couldn't actually play the qualification rounds in Schaffhausen and Wetzikon. She had to step out, and Nicole Schwegli came in as lead player.
Almost didn't qualify.
They almost didn't qualify, exactly, really, with the last game.
Yep. Both Tyr and Sonia and Ott struggled through the competition. Tyr and Sonia also had an injured player on her team. Neunschwander was injured. And see here that the positioning of those Basel rocks, they wanted freeze. Try twice now to freeze to the top of that yellow rock. Both times bouncing off, giving Mirjam quite an easy open hit. Siegrist will try it again, and she needs to get some rocks into position. Yeah, Mirjam came back quite quickly from that injury. Played all week here and made up a lot of ground, coming from 5th to 1st within that 10-game stretch.
Yeah, one has to say that's a pretty amazing performance after being out for a few weeks.
Yep.
I'm sure she can feel some pain still from that injury, but still manages to bring in all her experience and pulling it all together.
Again, not quite what she wanted, just a little too much. This rock will be easily removed. So those rocks are just not good enough for Siegrist's team. They don't want to force anything. And she has to be careful in this end. She doesn't give up more than one. Miri won a kind of a hack weight shot here. Try to get on the inside of that blue and roll in line with that yellow. Carmen King. Certainly one of the most improved players on this Ott team in the last year or two. Great performance last year's Worlds and the Europeans just passed in Karlstadt. Ranked number 1 and 2, second at both those competitions.
So Team Siegrist needs a good rock here. They really need to hit that stone on the inside and roll behind the center guard on top of the shot rock. Just not getting enough roll. So Carmen Schäfer is going to try the same shot as Carmen Küng, coming down with a slow weight, probably just hack weight. To over curl the rock.
Nice shot from Carmen. Again, Siegrist under pressure. We have the ice conditions here. Martin, you ask and you shall receive. Here, ice temperature, -4.5. It's been pretty constant. And it's certainly not 6 feet of curl today. It's actually quite a bit less than it was last night even. It's colder, the air temperature is colder. and certainly humidity has gone down, which will straighten out conditions a bit. Now there's a nice shot. A double and a stays shot rock. The best shot we've seen from the Siegrist team all game. That's working out quite well. Fine shots from Carmen Schäfer. A double opportunity there though. Gives Siegrist a chance to get out of the end.
Mit dem 9er ist dann schon der Weg. Ja, ich auch. Hat die auch. So, oder? Auf dem Stein.
Should people double them out and roll in behind the guard? What you don't want to do is jam and stay open.
Das 9. Open door, ja.
The roll is more important here, I believe. You want to get buried.
So a 9-second takeout was indicated. 9 seconds. The split time between the two hog lines.
Curling a little too much.
Yep, that's just not going to be good enough.
No, not good enough to, certainly not good enough to defeat a world champion.
T-line. Yeah.
Miri's going to the other side here.
She's just splitting the house. Wants to draw the game away from that center guard.
Siegrist could be, say, we got nothing to lose, we're not playing well, let's draw behind the center guard. All of a sudden it's a tie game.
But that would be a brave call.
Well, you know, you've got your back against the wall all game. I mean, you got to try something. The worst thing you can do is lose, right?
That's right, but losing 2 in this end is better than losing 3.
Well, I don't know. I think this maybe make a decision for Siegrist anyways. Oh, that's a bad shot by Miri. Yeah. Too bad. I would have liked to have seen what Siegrist would have done.
Maybe in one of the next ends, Armin, not here
well,
now.
She's going to have to do something. She's going to have to take a chance somewhere.
She's going
to have to force a change right now. She's just been on defensive the whole time.
This one is working out really nice.
Almost.
Almost. Just should have rolled 10 centimeters more. Like this. It's going to be a chance for Mirjam just to peel it out and blank the end. And take the lead into the 5th end break. Being 3-2 up with the hammer going into the 6th end. That is what Mirjam is trying now with her last rock in this 5th end of the semi-final game. This is for a spot in the final game later on today at 6 o'clock Central European time. Silvana Tyrinzoni and her ring from Aarau is waiting for the second team in the final.
Those teams waiting in the final, and she's going to roll out. No, she's not. Sticking. So an unforced error.
Not what we expected.
No.
It's a 1 for Team Davos, taking up the lead 4-2, but losing the hammer.
We'll see what Siegrist can do in the second half of the game. So as we have a short timeout here during the fifth end break, quickly go over and see what's happening on the other sheet, the men's semi-final between Team Verteman from Bern Saringer against the Cruz from Geneva. And Nico will shortly be doing an interview quickly with Al Moore, the national trainer. We'll give his impressions of the game we're watching between Manuela Siegrist and world champion Mirjam Ott here in the semi-final of the Swiss Curling Championships. Mirjam Ott controlling the game up until now, has Siegrist totally on the defensive for all 5 ends. Siegrist will have to do something to change that, change her tactic a little bit, and certainly rock placement.
Al Moore, national trainer of Switzerland, you've been watching the game. Can you give us an update on the stats?
The stats are probably uncharacteristically a little bit low. I think there's a lot of nerves out there, and there seems to also be a bit of a struggle with reading the ice. There's some tracks in the ice that they don't seem to have picked up. I think the nerves are probably, there's a little bit extra adrenaline. There's been a lot of draws through the house. So hopefully that their fifth end break, the teams can settle down, relax, get their wits about them, and then really come out in the second half and much stronger showing. Both teams have made a lot of mistakes, and so it's probably fair that the score is as close as it is, given that all the mistakes. The high players on the ice, the front end for Team Davos are playing 85%. They're very solid. Everybody else has had their struggles with weight. So hopefully the coaches can get them sorted out and be a much better second half.
In the first 5 ends, we have to say Davos was having the lead. They managed to put on the pressure on Team Siegrist. Manuela having to draw for 1, for example, in the 4th end. But now with the miss of Mirjam, she wanted to peel out the last rock and blank the end. That brings back the chance for Team Siegrist as well.
Yeah, it looked the whole end like there was going to be a 2-ender scored for Davos. Mirjam heavy with her first shot and then stuck on her second, so she can't be happy with that. I think you'll see Team Basel-Regio now come out in the 6th end fairly aggressively to try and even the score, and then the last 4 ends, hopefully the team that can show the most calm and relaxation out there will probably be the one that wins.
So if you would be team coach of these 2 teams, what would you advise them?
Well, I would advise Team Davos that they are totally in control of this game with a 2-point lead, and they'd like to play in the house and try and keep it as less complicated as possible. For Team Basel-Regio, on the other hand, when they have last rock, I think they want to make the situation a lot more complicated to try and get some mistakes out of Davos and score a 2-ender.
So thanks, Al, a lot. The game starts again in the 6th end. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And that was Al Moore, Swiss national trainer out of Vancouver. Spends all season over here working with all the teams. Yeah, Andy Schwaller, who's the head coach, also part of the Swiss curling staff. And now we'll see if Al's predictions of what they should do come to pass. Basel-Regio definitely needs to become more offensive, more aggressive. We'll need to get better rock placement. Like Al said, draw, weight control was not very good, especially the Basel team. The front end of the Davos team fairly solid. That's kept the pressure up on the Basel team throughout the entire 5 ends.
Zwei.
See if that changes.
Zwei. Ja, zolang läuft nog iets. Nog iets.
So guard is in play. We've seen this situation before. The question is, what will Davos do with that guard? %. Very long center guard.
8 Fuß.
And this is one of the rocks that the Basel team has had difficulty with. This, you want this in front of that shot rock in the center of the house.
Englisch, vor 8.
Zieh richtig.
Vor 8.
Positioning here being very critical if you want to generate any offense.
Richtig ist super.
It's looking pretty good. Keeper's working it. They want to get right up close to it. Well in line.
Gut so.
And that's certainly better there than bouncing off and into the open. As we see, it's fairly well covered.
Zwei nach.
Warte, wenn es geht. So, zuerst Görle.
Nachnehmen. Wechselt schnell.
Nach ist gut.
Nicht zu nahe nehmen. Mitte.
Ist gut, lass sein.
Du 2.
Richtig ist gut. Ja.
Ja, jetzt.
Ein bisschen mehr wie Geld.
Fest.
Fest.
Weiter.
Noch. Gut gewusst.
Schön. Ja, aber es tut jetzt auch nicht.
Das Gefühl, vorher ist mehr gefrutscht. Vorher ist mehr gefrutscht, ja.
Removes the 2 yellow guards, but leaves her own rock still covering the center.
Nochmal 2. Mitte.
Again, Mirjam quite content to keep the play in the middle of the sheet.
Ein bisschen weiter raus. Warte, wenn es geht.
Wechselt, Frauen. Er ist schneller.
Wo ist er?
Schneller.
Sehr weit.
Schneller.
Sehr weit.
Ab.
Oh. 1 bis 2.
Jetzt muss er noch.
2 nach.
Ja.
Muss noch.
gut. Schön so.
So for everyone who has just joined us now, my name is Nicole Strausak and alongside me is Armin Harder. And you also have the possibility to send us some comments or ask questions. We have an email address ready for you. This is livecurling@gmail.com.
Okay.
You will see it on the screen in just a bit. Martin is going to show it to you. Martin Stucki and the whole production crew who are bringing all these pictures live to you. And you can also contact us on Facebook, for example on the Swiss Curling Association Facebook site. We're looking forward to hear your comments. livecurling@gmail.com.
Putzen! Gehen schon! Achtung! Ja! Ja! Oh! Schön! Sehr schön!
This is a nice shot by Carmen Schäfer, blocking off the center.
Da bleibst du einfach an dem. Aber da ist die Gefahr einfach wegen dem, dass der nachher da liegt.
Okay, ja, dann würde ich die zwei da.
So?
Ja.
Manuela has to open up the center now, aiming for a double clearing. To open up the path to the dolly for herself, having last rock in this end.
Okay.
Not quite working out.
Ja.
Zwei.
85% for Carmen Schäfer.
Wartelinie.
Respectable.
Putzen!
Probably the best player out there at the moment.
Putzen!
Sehr nah. Genau gleich in der Anger. Genau gleich in der Anger. Bis 12. Oh, das ist...
Wow, wow. Achtung! Ja! Ja!
And things just become more complicated
Da Nase.
for Siegrist.
Nur ein
Run
Zahner.
that straight back onto the
Oder
blue,
willst du schnell?
onto the
Nur
yellow.
auf den behalten.
You'll need to come up with that sort of shot to change this.
Ja, wenn du Nusse triffst, gehen alle. Also geht der weg.
Und wenn du ihn gerade triffst, ist immer gut, oder?
Gerade geht er so.
Okay. Dann ist schon gut.
Ja.
Ist gut.
Tiam! Oh! Tiam! Oh! Tiam! Oh! Oh! Oh!
Oh! Komm noch ein bisschen. Ja, 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 ja.
Gut so.
Very nicely done.
Nach vorne. Doppel probieren, oder was?
Yeah, that's a nice result for the Basel team. The shooter just rolls nicely over, staying as a corner guard for the shot rock in the forefoot.
And if she wants to play the run back, it'll be using a Basel rock, so she doesn't want it to jam anywhere. Just trying to avoid that.
Fischi, siehst gar nichts.
Von dem!
And that is really what Team Basel needs to do. They need to bring Davos into a situation where they have to play some tricky shots as well. So far they could play rather simple shots, I would say.
Pretty simple game for Davos so far, yep. And we see here, probably the first time they've actually had to think carefully about what they're going to do.
Nicht vorne drüber.
Kannst du das nicht machen, zwischendurch für Heck?
Du darfst einfach den Blau keine Sekunde ankommen. Das ist auch im Haus.
So they have two options here, either playing a hack weight directly on the shot rock. That's actually what they're discussing. The danger with that shot is if she does touch the corner guard, that might roll into the house as well.
Fairly narrow port to navigate too.
And the second option is to play the race takeout.
It's not really a shot that Mirjam's really comfortable with playing with right now due to her injury. She probably not being able to play as hard as she normally is used to.
So. Okay. So. Fuß. Ist gut.
Achtung, ja! Ja!
Well played.
She wasn't quite comfortable making that, but she executed it well. Siegrist going way outside now into a new piece of ice, and we see that well cleared, leaving her own rock up front, so not so bad. Siegrist now going to a completely new piece of ice to try and get around some cover. She could play that later on with the last raise on those two blues.
It will be interesting to see how much curl they get in this line, and also
we played out here at all throughout the game. Most of the game has been up and down the middle. 60% Siegrist. Difficult to beat a world champion with 60%. And if that world champion's not playing on the top of her game in this game, this might run a little longer out there. Fresh pebble. That's exactly what's happening. Where it slows down in the middle because of lots of play, the pebble out there is still relatively fresh, so the rocks will just run. A missed opportunity by the Basel team, and that's experience. Here you could really put some pressure on here, getting that tap that yellow one back into the forefoot. Stay out front. Boy, it wouldn't leave Siegrist much to play with.
Dan gaan we direkt.
Mensch, kommst du nicht her, direkt?
Also Stoss ist schon gut. Ein bisschen weniger. Ja.
Vor der Nacht ist gut. Ja.
so they decided to draw
It looks
directly.
like a draw, yeah. It's too much ice for a tap. I might have tried the tap.
The reason why they draw is they want to leave that center guard exactly where it is and block the road off to the dolly. They don't want to risk to move that too much.
Well, mission not accomplished. The draw, the 4-foot is certainly there. She's going the other way. She needs a good piece of the 8-foot, that's all she needs. it was an opportunity to tap that back into the forefoot and really put some pressure on that Siegrist team.
So Manuela is just going to slide down the exactly same line as before, giving the same ice, because she should know now how the ice is behaving out there. Needing a draw to the 8 foot to score a 1 point here in this 6th end.
Sweepers are working. She's definitely not too long. Careful she's not too short. It's not curling much, but looks pretty good. There it goes. Right on the tee line. 1 point for Basel here in the 6th end. The score is now 4-3 for the world champions.
We see happy faces in the Basel team. I think they were a bit scared with that stone, if it's still going to curl enough to...
Well, there wasn't a lot of weight to get to.
Absolutely.
So they're going to have to steal now. They're going to really have to get aggressive. Force a steal. Hey, get a result on the other sheet, the men's play. The other semi-final games on the men's. De Cruz against Vertemont. Vertemont leading after 5 ends of play, 4-3. A surprise there.
That seems to be a very close game as well. De Cruz now having the hammer in the 6th end. They really played a fantastic game last night.
Great game last night on the men's side, yeah.
It was a very close game, and especially in the first 5 ends we saw a lot of great shots, a lot of team shots, draws passing by the guards by nothing and burying nicely, lots of freezes, angle freezes, promotion takeouts, and they really, both teams really all made them.
Well, they went at each other right off the start, very aggressive. Both teams are used to playing against each other. And both like to play aggressive and mix it up. They certainly go after each other. They're quite interesting games to watch, and last night's game was very high percentages. Good execution, good shot calling.
So Team Michel in the final already, waiting for the opponent of that game, Peter De Cruz or Bernhard Werdermann. And we keep you up to date how that game is going to progress. Back in our game,
Little
7th
mistake
game.
here by Janine Greiner, coming up just a hair short. This will give an opportunity to Siegrist. Nicole Dunkley will need to get one in shot position here. Very important if she wants to help her team. It's quite wide. We'll finish at the end, but not that much.
Okay. Schade.
We just don't see the finish of the stones as we saw it last night.
Yeah, it was a much better curl last night. The conditions of, because of becoming so cold outside, certainly have changed the conditions a bit on the ice here. Of course, you wouldn't think it, seeing Janine out there in her t-shirt. Nicely played.
Auf Freeze! Da ist auf der T-Line. Vorne 4 ist gut. Okay. Macht er nicht, wenn er 8 ist.
So the Swiss champion is going to represent Switzerland at the Worlds being held in Riga, Latvia this year, starting on the 16th of March. The first time that Latvia is going to hold such a big curling championships event.
Yeah, what a pretty city it is too. Certainly going to be worth a visit. Watch some curling and see a nice city. That rock just didn't curl enough for Nadine. And I heard yesterday you're coaching the Latvian team, ladies.
That's right, yes. I have the honor and pleasure to coach the hosting nation. It's the team of Iveta Stasa Sarsune. It's going to be the second time for a Latvian team to being at the World Championship. This team already played the Worlds in Swift Current 3 years ago, and they managed to get their first win there for the history in Latvian curling. They've beaten Team USA in Swift Current. So let's see if we can move up with maybe 2 or 3 wins at the next World Championships. That would be already quite a nice success for that team. And also some other nations have decided already who's going to be there. Eve Muirhead from Scotland, for example, has qualified. Also Erica Brown with her rink. Debbie McCormack.
Playing third on that team, yeah.
From the USA. The Scots Tournaments of Heart is just going on this week.
Holman and Jones are definitely the favorites there.
And also the German ladies are playing this weekend for their national title.
Be interesting to see if Schopp makes it again. And again. I understand the Latvian ladies are going to give us a visit today too, I believe. They're training in Champry with Mike Harris.
That's right, and afterwards they're going to move on to play a tournament in Biel, where I will meet up with them, and yeah, they might take the chance and come up to Gstaad today to watch the final games tonight at 6 o'clock. And of course it would be great if also some other Swiss people would make the drive or take the train and come up to Gstaad. And
nice and sunny out there this morning, so not seeing too much sunshine down in the lower regions of Switzerland. Certainly sunny up here, or it was anyways, the last time I looked. We are in a bit of a cubby hole here. Can't see outside.
And if you can't make it up to Gstaad, we're going to webcast the men's final tonight at 6 o'clock Central European time. And also going to update, of course, on the ladies' final. So hopefully you're going to join us again later on today to see who's going to pick up the gold medal at the Swiss Championships.
Back to this game, Basel's not getting those rocks into play, and as Carmen comes up with a big shot here, Basel's going to be in some trouble. Just not finishing.
Okay.
Another opportunity for Basel to get out of that.
So.
Yeah, it's not what you make, it's what you leave. And even though Davos is lying with 3 rocks, there is a chance for the Basel team to hit that yellow rock just gently on the inside and roll to the bottom, be fully buried, and also having a nice pocket of yellow rocks at the back. So that's really the chance in this end to turn it around.
Seem to be struggling right now to get to the inside of those rocks in that position right there. They need a soft touch to get around that. Davos does have the hammer in this end with a 4-3 lead. And that seat's just not finishing there.
Okay. Schau gut so.
Didn't leave her in too bad a position.
Wenn wir den Blau einfach auftun, kommt sie hier.
Ja.
Dann sind wir verkauft.
Liegen wir zu dritten, oder? Wo sind wir jetzt?
Wir sind da schon, Second Search.
Okay, mach. Vorne 12. Ja.
Hier?
Ja. Da.
Genau.
Einfach noch ein bisschen hinter der.
Genau.
Ja. Hier gerade schräg.
Mirjam opting to draw around that center guard as opposed to opening it up.
Gut, nach 12.
Innen gut. Veel Platz.
Nach 12.
Achtung, ja.
2.
Ja. 12 Fuß.
Not sure if this was the right call.
Witter, kommt super.
12 ist gut.
Witter.
Davos or Basel can now tap their own blue right into that pocket. And
Ja, gerade da.
Davos will have a hard time getting at
Der
it.
Backline.
Okay.
Dass wir da den Weg laufen.
Okay, ist gut.
Was meinst du so?
Backline ist gut.
Das müssen wir.
Ja.
Ja.
Oh.
Schneller.
Oh.
Schneller.
Achtung.
Ja.
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 Well played of Aline Patz.
So.
Ja.
Basel laying shot now.
Willst du nur schieben oder
No
was?
backing though.
Normal.
Gut, schon nochmal.
The shot from
Okay.
Patz was just a little too hard. She would have liked to have just nudged it in there, not moved anything. To take the backing away from it. Davos looking for an angle raise takeout on that blue one. Makes it. Davos lying too low. There's a hole there. Opportunity come through.
Gut. Ja, sonst liegst du mit 3 in der Ziellinie. Ist schon gut. Ja, jetzt hat
Really exciting end now and some nice shots coming out of the players.
Ja, also weißt du,
Aber
ich
dann
würde
muss
gleich
er-
mal wie ich komme.
So.
Ich würde gleich mal kommen wie ich, oder? Ich bin vor. Was bin ich heck gewesen?
Ja, Bell.
Orde.
Gut.
So another important shot coming up for Manuela Siegrist.
Wir liegen ja dann da. Oder dann bleibt ja.
Gut, es langt schon, wenn er im Viertel versteckt ist. Weißt du,
Weißt du, wenn der dann nämlich
Trying
da
to
liegt,
come
dann
in,
bleibt unsere dann immer
hit
da.
the shot rock on the inside and roll over.
Du musst fast, weißt du, es geht schon ziemlich nachher da. Was würdest du sagen? Also Hack.
Hackway.
Ja.
So. Gut.
She's going to play a backline weight. She needs to get enough curl to really hit that shot rock towards the center line. And roll over to the second rock in the forefoot.
Achtung!
Backline.
weight is looking good. It's curled nicely and it stays in there as shot rock.
Oder was? Ich weiß nicht, ob ich so dahinter komme. Ah?
She just rolled slightly behind the tee line, which will give Mirjam the opportunity
T-line.
just to basically freeze onto it
T-line.
and stay fully on the button.
Legst du mit 3? Nein.
Muss ich noch mal schauen?
Ja, ist gut. Hast du auch? Der ist nicht für ein Doppel dort, gell? Der ist nicht für ein Doppel. Wenn dann so versuchen aufzutun. Aha, gut. Aha, das wäre nicht so schlecht, das stimmt. Das stimmt.
Other option, of course, would be to open up the center to give them a chance for a big house.
Okay.
Heißt das nicht? Dann würde dort rundum recht gut
Hitting that blue center guard on the right hand side as we're looking at it now from Mirjam Ott's point of view.
Was ist denn, wenn wir da noch spielen? Auch nicht, hä?
Nein, vom Winkel wäre nicht gut.
Nein, wollen wir da?
Ja.
So, Miri.
Ja.
They did discuss the different options, but deciding now for the shot they were talking about before. Just drawing in the house,
14,5.
fully on the button. They do have to be shot after that rock, otherwise Manuela could just try and play a guard and protect the shot rock. It's not curling enough.
Ja, ja, fest.
Okay.
So the danger shot for the Basel team is that yellow rock biting the 8 foot. That could be promoted onto the shot rock with the last rock of Mirjam. So that's why they're going to play a guard in front of that yellow rock on the left hand side. And leave Mirjam with a possible draw to the button with her final rock.
%58% her numbers.
Heißt 2. 2.
Okay, ja, zie richtig.
2. Ja.
Zie, got a bit.
Where you'll need to be if you want to be a world champion.
2.
Dribber und hoog.
2.
But she's still in the game.
3. Goed zo.
Straight draw.
Goed punkt, hè?
Ja.
Mirjam Ott with her last rock in the 7th end.
Gut,
She needs a draw on the button to secure a 1 point in this end.
Like it's moving a lot. Gotta get past the second guard too. Just past it. Wow. Good sweeping action there. 1 point for Davos. Maintain their 2-point lead.
Bremst oder was?
Ja, ich wollte schon hinten 4 sein. Hinten 4 ist es schon gewesen, ja. 91.
That was an important point, because otherwise all of a sudden the game would have been tied again.
Ja.
Das ist gut gewesen, ja. Es war hinten der Tier.
Ja, das ist jetzt nicht so riskant.
So they will be happy with the 2-point lead.
Ja.
It's Manuela now in the 8th end with the hammer. They really need to go full out for a 2 in this end.
Manuela was willing to mix it up in that end, almost had an opportunity to make something. So she'll have to do that again, get rocks into play.
And we see here the time clocks. Both teams are having 73 minutes per game.
3 ends left. There's plenty of time for both teams. And here we just see an update on the men's game again. Verteman stole one in the 6th. Cruz took one in the 7th. It's still a 5-4 1-point lead for Verteman. And he has the hammer.
This is now advantage Verdeman.
Nur das 2.
8th end with the hammer being 1 up.
Gut.
Ja, 14. 14, 8. Ja.
So Janine Greiner's shot to the 4-foot comes up a little bit short. It's just top of the 12. This could be an important rock.
Nein, ist gut. Er hat irgendetwas.
Will force Miri to do something different with her next rock. Could give an opportunity for Basel to finally utilize that corner guard.
Gut.
Tja,
Oh, wie?
Nur 8.
Achtung!
Wie?
Tja!
12.
Tja!
Oh, nur noch Länge.
8.
Gut, die.
Bremst.
Jetzt noch ein, komm! Schön. Vorher hat er so viel gestochen mit 12 Fuß.
Für 10.
So Nicole Dünki with her second
Länge ist gut.
stone in this end. Playing a soft weight takeout. Trying to remain with the shooter behind that corner guard, but just rolling out of the house.
Gut.
In my view, they could just go down with the weight even more to secure that the shooter really hangs around and maybe just push
Well,
that.
I wouldn't be playing takeouts in the situation.
You would
here
just
right
go
now.
behind the corner guard directly.
Yeah. Go behind the corner guard directly, try and use it, or push those back, or to get some rocks in play. Hitting and rolling out is just the worst thing you can do right now.
Yes, for me it's also either or. The main thing is just to really remain the shooter in the game.
Exactly.
Bring it behind that corner guard, because now, as we saw, the corner guard is gone. Mirjam Ott is not going to mess around now in the 8th end. She will play defensive and remove all the stones in the danger zone
Länge ist gut. 2.
of the Basel team, not giving them the opportunity to score a deuce in this end.
Could even have opted to put up another guard. need rocks in play. That's the big thing. Utilize that free guard zone rule. Get rocks into play. Because a very good defensive team here. Mirjam Ott is certainly capable of. Her team is playing those clearings and runbacks.
Ja! Ja! Noch mit! Fest! Fest! Carmen! Carmen! Raus an! Gut. Gut.
So as always, you do have more than just one option as a skip you decide on, and sometimes you just have to make the decisions where you think the players can really also make the shot,
Zwei ist gut.
because you can play the greatest strategy. If the shots don't come, that won't win you a game. So Manuela decided to go for not so aggressive shots with Nicole Dünki's second stone, but then they really have to make sure that they really can execute it and make the most out of it. Like this, the opportunity almost is gone already.
Trying to hit and roll, which is maybe not a comfortable shot for her at this time. You might as well get her to throw up a guard or draw behind to make sure she keeps her rock in play. That's the bottom line. You need to get rocks in play. You're down 2 against the world champion. You're not executing that well, but you're still in the game. It's only 2 points. Quick things can change, but you need to generate that change. You need to do something that affects that change. And you don't do that by hitting and rolling out.
So Alina Pat is going to play into the rings. Just playing a freeze on that rock or tapping it back behind the tee line to create some opportunities.
So viel dazwischen.
Just again, it's not going to be good enough. They really needed a freeze or tap it back behind the tee line.
Well executed, Carmen Schäfer.
Entweder das oder nochmal Freeze. Kannst du auch hinten dran, sehr gut. Wie du lieber willst.
Second chance for Alina.
Richtig, super. Ja. Richtig ist super. Richtig ist super. Ja, zieh!
Gut, schön.
Ja. So, hier. Dritt op Breugen.
Ja, tip-top.
There was a better attempt, but with a fast takeout weight, hitting the blue stone, 1/3 on the outside. She's going to remove all 3 shots.
Potten! Ja! Ja! Oh! 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 Raus!
Goal achieved. No stones in the game anymore.
No place to hide.
T-Line bis hin.
Of course, a very young team.
So hoch.
Lots of playing against a very experienced team. And they'll be learning over the years, and they're working hard, and they'll take lessons from this, one way or the other, and continue to develop.
Ich glaube lang. Ich glaube genug lang.
So Manuela is trying to find a tricky spot in the house for the next takeout for Mirjam.
So obviously it's quite ominous for a young team like this when they look up and there's the Yakis, the Tiransonis, the Otts, and that's the competition you have to fight your way through to become Swiss champion. You see Robert Hurlimann on the left, coach of the Team Michel Adelboden, whose boys are getting set to, I think they have a practice after this, get ready for tonight's game.
And on the right side, Christoph Zisset, coach of the coach.
Yeah.
That's what he told me last night.
The man for everything. And he certainly has a nice hat. Kind of does team manager, basically.
So they're watching the men's game, obviously, to see who they will meet in the final tonight at 6 o'clock. Probably also watching the ice conditions.
They'll be playing on this sheet that the women are playing on right now, because we will be covering that game at 6 o'clock tonight, Swiss time, Central European time. And last night's game was a excellent game. I'm hoping for the same for the final tonight.
So Manuela wants to blank this end. And she does, and takes on the hammer into the 9th end, still being 2 down. And probably has to try a little harder in that 9th end to build something up, to go out for that possible 2 in that end.
She's got to take some risks, leave some rocks in play, maybe uncomfortable. Keeping it simple, as Davos team is just going to run you out of rocks. They're very well at executing those clearings.
So we see Carmen Schäfer here in the house.
And we see Nicole Schwegli on the left, spare for Team Davos, and Olympic silver medalist. Where was it again?
Salt Lake City.
Salt Lake City, that's where it was. Lucia Evneter.
Goed, voor de 4. Goed.
Swiss women's
Is goed.
very successful on the Olympics. And men also. Combined total over 3-4 Olympics, 1 gold, 2 silvers and a bronze. And here we see Al Moore on the right, national trainer, and Andy Schwaller.
Shaking his head.
Not quite sure what to think of the men's game going on right now.
So they have been watching a lot of games this week.
They have been. And they've been taking all that information and analyzing that with the teams after the competition. Of course, they've got a neutral stance at the moment.
12 Fuß.
They'll need to work with the teams directly. We'll be going to the Worlds.
Yeah, their job is going to start right on tomorrow, I guess, when the 2 new Swiss champions are defined to discuss the
no,
preparation
Leni,
program
Leni,
going
Fuß.
for the Worlds for the next few weeks.
That's right. The women will very quickly be heading off.
12 is gut. 8.
They have a week at home, I think,
Yeah.
and then the week after they'll be heading off to Riga.
Ja, ja.
And here we also see the nice curling bar here in Gstaad with a lot of spectators following the game from the warm side of the glass.
Well, that's been like that all week up there. It's been a good crowd up there. It's very difficult to see.
And now let's
You don't get
see.
a seat early enough.
Let's see what Manuela decides on for the second rock of Nicole Dünki here in this game. Is she going to throw a second corner guard up this time?
Leni, super.
Yep! Oh, yep! Yep!
Leni, goed.
Tia! Go, 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 go! Nog een, nog een! Ja. Is goed zo.
At least it was a tap. I might have thrown another guard up. That would have still been a... Take that over,
That's quite a nice result as well. I like that yellow
absolutely.
rock
yeah.
there in the back of the house. That can be very helpful later on in the end when they use the corner guard and are going to have a backing there in the back of the house. So that was nicely executed.
Wat? Oh,
Carmen Kung at 88%.
oh,
Solid game
oh.
again.
Weg, snel weg.
When you do have to hammer, stones in the back is always a good thing for you.
nog
That
even.
always helps the team with the hammer. Stones behind the tee line, so
Wie viel
doesn't
siehst du?
matter if they are your own ones or the ones of the opponent.
Wenn wir da so.
Ich würde, ja. Finde ich gut.
10.
Wie schnell?
10.
Yeah, now she's
Wenn wir
asking
11
for a
noch,
normal
dass er sicher
takeout
Ich
again.
habe nur ein
I would
Selfie.
throw
11
that
ist
down.
gut.
Don't need to remove him, just push him back. Want to keep this shooter, very important to keep this shooter in play.
Leni, sterk nog. Knap, ijs.
Oh,
Ijs. Ijs.
Eis!
Wo?
Ijs. Nur ijs.
Tia!
Nur ijs.
Yep! Yep!
Ijs, 2.
Yep! Go, 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 nog een, nog een! Alina. Ja, 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 nog een, nog een, nog
A
een.
little roll,
Goed. Sorry.
not so bad.
What?
That little yellow rock in the back of the 8-foot is now becoming a hindrance. See if it gets a jam. She'll need to hit it. Carmen will need to hit it right on the nose to drive it out straight out the back. Anything outside of that may get a jam on that yellow one. Needs to curl quite a bit. Might have that jam. There you go. Oh, she gets lucky.
Entweder da oder dahinter.
Lucky for Davos that
So, einfach gerade auf den.
the stone did roll out of the rings.
Der liegt
Barely,
vorne
ja.
4. Also 8 Fuß. Ja. Und wenn du dann da mal kommst, wenn er ein bisschen tappt, ist auch okay.
Leni is goed.
Richtig,
Er is
noch
heel
nicht.
snel, hij is die lijn.
Nadine will be heading again to Canada for the mixed
Oh, no,
double
moet sneller.
championships.
Hij is sneller. Die nog.
Oh.
Die nog.
Who will be her
with
partner?
Martin Rios.
Yeah, okay.
Wow, 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 wow. Wel nog niet. Oké.
Goed zo. Diep
Is goed.
Willst du das auch nehmen? Oder einfach clearen? Einfach so rausclearen.
Mixed doubles championships. I think Swiss have lost Only one game in 5 years.
Huh?
And that was a semi-final.
Gut, oder? So.
Yeah, it was Toni Müller and Irene Shori winning it twice, if I remember right.
And then Eileen Patz with
Sven Michel.
Sven Michel winning a gold. Nadine with Martin Rias winning a gold. So I believe only one loss in 5 years. Taking a bronze.
Carmen with a very good performance of
Yep,
86%, very solid.
Second and third positions on this Davos team. Certainly been controlling the game. And there's another great removal.
Da noch tappen.
Danger Rock is gone.
Hä? Hinten nach.
She's very focused on these two rocks here. She's not utilizing that corner guard.
She's going to try to create a pocket. In the back 8 foot. Aline just promoting that stone 1 meter to the back.
So, schnell. Versuchen, ihn fast Nase zu nehmen. Gut. Ein bisschen aus.
Lieber sicher, hä?
So Mirjam wouldn't mind to also remove her own rocks behind the tee line and remain with the shooter just in the top rings.
Gut so. Tipptopp.
And now we have a freeze opportunity for Manuela. The goal has to be fully on the nose of that rock to make it as hard as possible to be removed.
Okay, gut so.
Schon.
A really nice shot of Aline Patz here.
Mit Schnee, da hat er weniger weiter Weg.
I'm not sure who shot rock, it still could be yellow.
Ja, ja.
But that doesn't matter at this stage.
It's in a position where it can be used anyways. So Miri will have to try and pick it out cleanly.
Sieht aus, dass der von innen wird.
Ja, Chance, was machst du
Sieht aus, dass der von innen
Sie
wird.
drumherum nochmal. Und sie
Das
daheim.
sieht ziemlich nah.
Ja, schon. Probier, er ist so viel dazwischen.
Von innen sieht es aus, als würde er gehen. So, hä?
It's Carmen Kung
Aber ich bin da
may be right, suggesting that the peel from the inside will work.
Sometimes good to take a look from the hack side as well. It always looks a bit different than from the house position.
There's enough separation between those rocks to be able to do that. That you cannot see from the hack usually. Oh.
And I remember Carmen Kung saying something similar in the World Championships final.
Yeah.
When they were discussing the tap back for 2. Carmen said, looking good from behind. And they managed to do it there. Let's see how it works out here.
He certainly doesn't mind losing one of those rocks at the back there.
That was very good, removing as much stones as possible.
Bis hinter 4. Ja. Bis daher.
So we need another freeze of the Basel-Regio team here.
So gerade hinter der T-Line ist gerade so ganz hinter der T-Line.
Okay, gut.
Anything else will be just too easy for Mirjam Ott to peel out again.
Right after this end, we'll quickly look at the men's score. Bit of a surprise developing there.
Sweepers working hard on this one.
It's
Just over curling,
yep.
which really is a pity.
Weight wasn't too bad, just over curled. Mirjam will have easy work of this.
Just needs to calm down, hit 1/3 of the blue rock.
And Basel will be forced to take one here in the 9th.
Oh, die schneller! Oh. Ja. Ja.
Looking pretty good.
Gut, Miri. Gut so. Nur T-Line ist gut.
So this is going to be a draw for 1 for Manuela Siegrist to stay in the game. In this 9th end of the semi-final of the Swiss Championships 2013 here in Gstaad. My name is Nicole Strausak and alongside me is Armin Harder. And we're really getting into decision phase here in this game.
Hast du mitgegeben?
Wo ist er?
Zieh!
Wo ist er?
Hinten 4!
Zieh
ihn drauf! 4! Muss Bremse haben! Ja, einmal nach!
Zieh!
Muss Bremse haben!
Zieh! Zieh! Ja, ja! Zieh! Komm mal, durch, bis zum Schluss. Noch.
Very good shot. Takes her 1 in the 9th.
To give us a new score of 5-4 after 9 end.
Gut gewusst.
Coming down to the 10th end with Davos having the hammer.
Jetzt sind wir halt wieder so weit wie
And let's have a quick update on the men's game as well.
Doppelgard.
Team Beater Deck Crews from Geneva playing Bernhard Werdermann from Bern.
Plenty of time left for both teams, and Werdermann taking command of this game with a 2 in the 8th to go up 7-4. Peter back there just looking a little bit frazzled.
They're in the 9th end now. Geneva having the hammer. Needing to score at least 2 here in this 9th end.
Das Richtige ist gut.
I would think an upset.
1.
Yeah, that would be sort of a surprise.
For the way that Geneva team's been playing.
1-2.
They played last night against Adelboden. Although they lost, they certainly played a high-level game.
And also when we just look at the performance of the team Geneva the whole season, they really played a great season. They were really at the top in many tournaments, even won a tournament.
Beat Coy and Martin in one day.
Yeah, that's right, and won a tournament in Canada as well, being runner-up twice at the Curling Champions Tour events in Europe, so they really had a good season so far. So
one Grand Prix.
Good, Janine.
So we get the free guard zone rule coming into effect there. Davos tried to move that rock. You can't remove it from play, so it comes back again. And the played rock will be removed. Goldring being asked to put up another guard.
So they would like to place that second center guard right in line with the first one. And as far apart as possible.
It's looking pretty good. Get them right in line.
So they're not attempting the tick shot here. They want to place one of their own stones in the rings, in the 8-foot zone.
Achterlinie! Sehr weit!
To be in their first.
Also dann weg, schnell! Warte, wechseln! Nicht so lang!
Safety valve maybe?
Hallet!
12.
No, they're going around it. They're putting it in the middle. Want to get it right into the 4-foot. It's coming up a little short.
Gut. Okay.
So they're going in directly, trying to place one of their own rocks in the 4-foot. Even 8-foot would be nice.
You need the 4-foot to steal.
Problem with the 4-foot is that, of course, Team Ott can promote their own rock in the 12-foot.
Interesting statistic just handed to us here. Bertemann seems to like the years with 3. Swiss champion final 93. Swiss champion final 2003. Swiss champion 2013. Maybe. Certainly looking that way. Greetings go out to Thomas Lips, who's watching our coverage. Thanks for that, Thomas. See you soon.
Yeah, Thomas really showing a great performance as well, now as Russian coach.
World champion and European champion.
With 2 different teams.
2 different teams.
In the same year, yeah,
In
exactly.
the same year, yeah. 2 different languages.
Time out.
So Team Ott is calling a timeout.
Ja, wenn sie nicht optimal kommt, eben genau.
Not Team
Sie hat
Ott, of
einfach damals
course.
dürfen
Team
nicht
Siegrist.
Wenn es anders Männer könnte
Lucia Edmonton coming down to
weil dann wird sie aufmachen, dann können wir dann so.
give her team some instructions.
Hoi, Sally.
Wir haben überlegt, entweder noch vorne 4 oder den Corner Free St. Gallen, sogar innen.
Vorne 4? Was heisst vorne 4? Also einfach nochmal ein Guard?
Nein, bis
4 Fuß.
Oder den Corner Freeze.
Der ist ja noch dran. Ich würde nochmal einen Guard machen.
Das Eis nochmal.
Ich würde nochmal ein Eis machen.
Vor der Geile.
So, und sie macht den nochmal auf und erst dann nachher mit dem nächsten.
Aber würdest du vor der Geile oder vor der Blau?
Sie macht von uns vorne auf. von der Blauen
Ah, von der Blauen.
dass sie kein Double Clearing machen. Ich meinte, die machen noch einen Stein. Und erst nachher bei den Corner Freeze finde ich besser als den hinten.
Zuerst der Corner.
Ja, zuerst den Corner Freeze. Genau. Dass einfach so im Winkel, dass kein Double Clearing machen können. Oder?
Gut.
Das fände ich, aber
I'm
ich
not
würde es
quite
meinen
hearing
machen.
that conversation.
Okay, ja.
Ich kann das packen.
Well,
So Lucia trying to make the most out of that 1 minute time that she had.
she certainly did.
And she was actually advising the team to play another guard, if I got it right.
Okay.
The team first was discussing if they wanted to play in the rings, top 4-foot again. But to be honest, I'm not quite sure if I got it right.
Okay. So we are going for, with that ice, a guard. No? Could be a draw into the top of the 4 with that ice. Nadine Lehmann just threw that rock.
Drüber und muss Gerle.
Ist gut, Eis.
They are going for a guard.
Ice. Ice means guard, I guess.
Number 1,
Number
they're
1.
saying, so that sounds like a long guard. Just passing the hog line.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And nicely placed guard also.
Ist noch die? Was?
I do like that call at this stage of the end. Just to keep Davos occupied, still with removing guards.
Oh! Oh, weg!
89%. That's pretty good. And that's a 4-point shot there also for Carmen Kung.
12 Fuß.
So we're having a really good game. Now we're playing the guard from the other side.
I think they're even going to aim for a corner freeze on that yellow rock in the 12-foot.
On the
Corner freeze on the inside.
On the inside? Okay.
Muss Gerle.
12 ist gut.
Muss Gerle.
Trying
Achtung,
to
Ziel.
change the angle on that run back.
Ja, richtig.
Ist 12.
Galt viel.
Ach ja!
Ja. 12. 12. Ja. 12.
Over curling.
Okay.
Schon so probieren? Ja. Was hat Gefahr, dass er so...
Nur vor ist auch okay, oder nicht? Können wir nachschießen? Ja. Schön. Tipptopp.
Achtung! Tja!
Oh.
Tja!
Wir müssen so, hä?
I don't know what I should say. In some ways, of course, a great shot because quite a
She
few
took the one out of the 4-foot, and I think that
stones
was
were
the main
removed.
objective, and that was quite very well done.
On the other hand, the 4-foot is really blocked now with that
Nein, ist weiter
guard as
raus.
well in the center, that yellow one, and Aline Pats now is having a chance to draw behind that guard.
Certainly not looking short.
And it's looking quite wide.
Okay.
Not getting the ice right for that shot.
Oder der erste Raum.
Ich glaube, ich würde den Shot wegnehmen, ne?
Mary will be looking for a way to make sure she's got a path to the forefoot with her last one. That might be the guard to remove, try run that onto the other rocks.
Timeout.
I think the long guard is probably the biggest danger. That's the one you can get behind. The way it's curling, it's pretty hard to draw it behind a rock that's in the 12 foot. She always has a bump there too.
Timeout.
And they call a timeout.
Ja, aber sie ist nicht...
Wenn wir die wegnehmen, geht sie aber auch so hinten dran. Ja, das Problem ist einfach, die ist ein bisschen weiter vor, also den kannst du noch raustappen. Wenn sie da hinten dran kommt, kannst du nichts mehr machen.
The fifth player, Nicole Schregley, will come down.
Ja, das siehst du
Don't
nicht.
know how much input she'll have in this discussion.
But they like to get use of the extra time as
Well,
well.
the time doesn't start until the coach gets down to
Du
the...
kannst ihn so anspielen.
See Nicole not really getting too involved with the discussion.
Da oben durchgehst, dann spielt sie nochmal drumherum.
So the question is really, which guard do you want to have removed? Do you want to just peel off the yellow guard, or do you want to aim for the blue guard in the center and maybe also remove something in the back?
Also dann nehmen wir den weg.
Gut, gut. Ja, tipptopp. Da geht das Doppelgatter. Ja.
Ja.
So they're aiming for the blue
I
center
think the
guard.
long guard's the danger, personally.
The advantage of this rock is that they will have access to their yellow rock again in the 8 foot to promote that if necessary. With Mirjam's rock.
That may not be hanging around the yellow. It's probably going to disappear with this shot. Oh, no, they just picked it clean. Got it jammed. Underlying shot. Basel. We saw in last night's game, Mary's first shot was trying to clear a guard and take one with her that was in the house, and she ended up pushing the one that was in the house from the 12 foot into the 4 foot.
Ja, dann ist ja, das stimmt.
Allowing an arrow just to do a little split raise. Ended up winning the game like that.
It is actually getting quite exciting now in that last end. Manuela has the chance to draw around from the outside around that yellow center guard, aiming to be fully in the 4 foot. And if she can do that, there is really a chance for a steal in that end.
Geneva game looks like it's over. Bertemon wins 8-5 and is in the final. Disappointing. The Geneva team. There's a missed shot.
Just robbing the guard.
Opportunity.
That was really a big opportunity in this 10th end for Manuela.
She hasn't had too many all game. That would have been it.
But picking up what you just said, Armin, Bernhard Werdermann in the final game tonight at 6 o'clock Central European time against Sven Michel from Adelboden. We're going to feature that game live in our webcast, so hopefully you're going to join us again.
Huh?
I will be here unless I can talk Mike into coming down. But we will certainly be covering it, and it'll be worth watching, I believe.
Ja, ist gut. Ja, ist gut. Ja. Ja. Oh!
Achtung!
Oh! Oh!
So Mirjam is also drawing behind it. Of course, a possibility.
I'm not quite sure. Those rocks weren't going to be in any steely position.
But actually, I misread it. I thought she was going to draw, but actually the shot would have been to open up the center guard.
The guard. Those two rocks in the back of the 8-foot aren't going to...
It's like she almost was scared to lose two in this end.
Well, this certainly gives Manuela exactly the same shot she just played, where she gets perfectly buried. All of a sudden, it's an extra end. There's certainly a possibility for an extra end. She's got no place to go if Miri takes that guard away. Not a lot. She can only hide behind a yellow rock that can be easily raised.
Voilà, donc Milan.
Bis 4 Fuß. Richtig ist super. Bis 4 Fuß. Bis da. Bis da. Ja, ist gut.
She's got to curl a bit.
Wachsen.
Let's see if she gets enough finish at the end. They need to sweep it hard at the end. A really nice shot of Manuela. She's like pretty much covered behind that guard.
I don't know why Miri would leave that guard there.
Nein, ich sehe es noch nicht.
Meinst du so gerade nicht? Also nur Tee reinführen.
Wo ist der?
Der ist gerade auf der Tee.
Ja, das geht.
Ja.
T-Line, ha?
So in my eyes, it's
T-line,
not possible to pick
Ja, ja.
that shot rock out of the game. She has to play a downweight rock just to come.
Navigate that port and get a piece of the button to win. Boy, ominous looking shot.
Yeah. I'm not sure if she plays a dead draw or maybe just back
Just a little
8 weight.
back 4, back 8 shot. Just tap that one back a little bit. Just needs to get enough of it and stick there.
So last rock in this 10th end.
Oh, Lengi!
Are we going into an extra end or is Mirjam Ott going to secure a place in the final tonight?
Looking close. Oh, they're off it now. Not good enough, I don't think. Is it? It is. Oh. So close. And the world champions once again in the final. Great last couple of ends by Siegrist team. They've had a great competition. Solid all throughout. And a bronze medal at the Swiss Championships. Certainly a great accomplishment for such a young team. Mirjam Ott, world champion. Still opportunity to defend her title. In the close one here at the end. Manages to come up with a big shot. And will face Team Aro Tiransoni tonight at 1800. And there's a big surprise for today. Verteman Bern beating the Cruz from Geneva 8-5. We will be showing Bern versus Adelboden Michel